We also have, I think, Robin from Cumulo. Pere from Kakubi. He's the local guy in this panel. I think that's all. So the stage is yours.
All right, we good? Well, morning again, everyone. So my name is Max. I'm the moderator of this panel. It's actually the first time that I'm moderating a panel, so I feel quite special today that I'm allowed to do that. It's the finance part of ReFi. So we're here for the ReFi Gathering. That's the name of our event. And obviously the term ReFi has a little bit of finance in it. And I was actually keen to moderate that panel given my background, because I spent most of my career in fintech, like old school pre-crypto fintech finance shit. And then I had the pleasure to be part of a protocol called Centrifuge, which is very finance oriented as well. So for the last few years, together with Philip, spending now time in ReFi as investors, as advisors, whatever we are. And yeah, I want to just make sure that we all understand here what's the finance part of regenerative finance. We talk about the regenerative part, I think, in an hour or so. This is the focus of finance. Yeah, I mean, we have a panel here of Diego, of Pere, and of Robin. Each of you, 2 minutes, maybe. What are you guys up to? Why are you here?
Yeah, absolutely. Since I'm the local, I may as well welcome you. Benvinguts a Barcelona. Welcome to Barcelona. Yeah. I'm the CEO of Kakubi AG. I happen to be CEO of a Swiss company headquartered in Canton of Zug, and we are bridging the biggest carbon market in the world, 900 billion in liquidity. We are bridging the carbon market of the European Union on chain, right? Having our tokens, it's something that you have it's a deflationary asset. Every token is backed 1-to-1 with a valuable permit to pollute, and this means that as long as you hold our tokens, you prevent pollution from happening. I completely agree with the first assessment that the next few decades will be difficult. And as long as we hold as many permits to pollute, all the better. So this is what Kakubi is about.
Thanks.
Hi, I'm Robin. I'm one of the co-founders of Kumu. And we started Kumu because of two things. First, we believe that we need to make climate action effortless and financially attractive to scale. And the voluntary car market and other nature-based asset markets are still financially underdeveloped. And we need to provide financial tools for them so they can scale as well. And effortless climate action comes down to our nature-backed stablecoin. So stablecoin is just a cryptocurrency that's pegged to an index like US dollar. And nature-backed means that every stablecoin from Kumu is backed by carbon credits, as the US dollar was backed by gold before 1970. And the system we are developing is a borrowing protocol. I'm sure we will talk about this later. And what we allow is holders of these carbon credits to get interest-free loans. And we start with project developers from the voluntary carbon market who struggle to finance new projects. Finance is hard. And we want to provide them with an alternative with fair rates, 24/7 access to capital, and with a very lean process that only takes 5 minutes to turn their carbon credits into liquidity.
Hi, everyone. I'm Diego Mazo, and I'm co-founder of Tropicus. Tropicus is a lending and borrowing platform focused on Latin America with three main lines of action, which is financial, it's sustainability, and especially with climate action, and also education. So we try to combine all these with the actions or with the main actions in lending and borrowing platform. And our main markets are Argentina and Colombia, and our main goal is to provide better savings and fairer loans than local banks in the region.
Thanks. I'll actually start with different to what I thought before, but individually go to one by one and ask a couple of more questions, maybe to clarify a little bit more what you guys do, because I'm not sure everybody got the details. So, Diego, starting with you. I mean, there's 100 lending protocols out there, right? Like, start with pick one.
Yeah.
What's different, and where's the regenerative part in your finance offering?
Yeah, that's very, very important, because at the end we have Aave, Compound, and many more. And at the end, if we think about these platforms, those are about APYs, basically different tokens, and our focus is just to get access to financial tools in Latin America. To give a simple example, so you can log in with your email and start just saving money in dollars. So something that is important in Latin America is that the access to a stronger currency is not easy. So with the stable coins, it's a step forward to get a better financial life in general. And also credits or loans are very, very difficult. So what we do is just to offer them a lower interest rate than any kind of local bank. So if we compare this to Aave, to Compound, we're playing in a different league. So they think about technology and probably a trader mindset, and we think about real people needs. So that's the main thing, and the platform, the user experience, and the products itself are thought to help people find financial alternatives, basically.
Okay, all right. One more. Let's go with Pere. I mean, we talked a few months.
I would say it's way much more. We created Kakubi. I myself could be considered a high net worth individual, because we set up together with my brother here the fastest growing business in Spain in 2008. It's now a publicly traded company. It did photovoltaic energy. But I didn't set up Kakubi to live comfortable in a house next to the beach, because I already do this. I set up Kakubi to increase my lifespan, right? Because the climate emergency is here. It's much more important than people believe, and it probably will destabilize complex climatic systems within 15 years. So I've worked and collaborated with NASA on discovering exoplanets. You'll be surprised how many astrophysics are swallowing antidepressants because of what we are doing to our atmosphere. Now, we have tapped into the biggest carbon market in the world. It's regulated. It's the one that polluters use to pollute. We, by holding our tokens, you hold something that is valuable, and it's aimed at reducing pollution, because every time you hold the token, you prevent an industrial from polluting 1 carbon ton. Moreover, it's something that tends to go up in value because it's deflationary. I have it as a pension fund, or as part of the pension fund of my dad. So my money is, or my dad's money is, where my mouth is. And it's something good for the environment, and it's something valuable and a great hedge for portfolios, and also an interesting composability tool for DeFi as well. Because come to think about an asset that has gone up in value in the last 3 years, it's composable, it's literally uncorrelated to other cryptos. I cannot think about anything else. Moreover, this asset class prevents pollution from happening. Doesn't attempt to offset it. The chemistry of industrials is well understood. The photosynthesis process of plants, not so much. Blockchain can bring a lot of solutions to the voluntary carbon market, but it's 1/100th of the size of the market that Kakubi is reaching. The UETS, the largest carbon market in the world, and the one that is hurting people. Because every year, the EU, which is the 3rd greatest polluter in the world, pollutes 1,000 million carbon tons, right? And we have set up Kakubi so that it has planetary impact, right? We've done already 500,000 in sales to professional investors alone, but retail sales are starting really soon, and people from all over the world will be able to tap into this market. It's only one atmosphere that we have. No matter if the investment comes from Singapore, or it's $100 from Switzerland, or $500 investment from Britain, right? We all share one atmosphere, and Kakubi allows you to prevent current pollution and future pollution from existing. It took us 9 lawyers, 4 different jurisdictions. It was crazy. It almost brought me nuts because the complexity of the issue was absolutely amazing. It was a daunting task, but we've managed to do it. We've hacked, removed marks, the EU ETS market, the largest carbon market in the world, to the benefit of the people. And of course, yes, we are going to win money by doing it because we believe it's legit that this happens, because we believe in free market economies. And we know that the EU ETS is the largest carbon market in the world. It's a story of success after many failures, and it's a correct way of internalizing the cost of polluting. The beer that it will be served in the conference today, it's called Estrella Damm. It's the exception of the norm. This beer is made of photovoltaic panels that my brother and I did set up. It was a 10 megawatt installation 10 years ago. But the rest of the beer factories pollute carbon in order to make beer, right? And they need to buy permits in the EU ETS. As long as you hold them, unfortunately, competition's beer are going to be more expensive. The beer factories that do the job well are going to be cheaper. And this is, in our opinion, how we internalize the cost of polluting. Of course, there's another completely different story, that is the offsetting of pollution and what we do, and it's another challenge. But mind that, we cannot plant trees away of our problems. We need to plant trees, absolutely, but it's only part of the solution. We can only restore the world as it was a few centuries ago, yes, in the landscape, but what do we do with the carbon that we have, the fossil fuels carbon that's in the atmosphere, and the methane, and the rest of the greenhouse gases that are about to reach tipping points, right? So it's a major challenge. I don't want to jeopardize too much the debate, and I know other people like Robin have great ideas on what do we do, but literally we are here to do everything we can humanly to help, not only to win money, but actually to help the life of my nephews as well.
All right. I was actually tempted now to go into the beer market as a German to defend the German beer industry, but let's not go there. Robin, Kumo is a stablecoin, or will be a stablecoin, backed by nature-based assets. Does the world really need another stablecoin? And who the fuck wants to place carbon credits as a backing for the stablecoin? I was swearing again, sorry Esther.
Yes, we need another stablecoin, mainly because I felt we stopped thinking about the narrative of money a while ago, and DeFi enables us to attach additional value to our monetary system that we could hardly do with the traditional financial system. Money doesn't have to be only unit of account or it's something that we can pay for or store value with. Money can be more, and what we say, money can also be a store of impact or can be a climate accounting tool. And that's why we think we need another stablecoin, and I think we need more than just our stablecoin. We can think of SDGs broadly, and there could be money for all these different goals that we have. There can be overlaps in between. We can have local currency stablecoins. Not sure if we need another stablecoin that's pegged to the US dollar, but it's still the determining currency that we use. So stablecoins maybe in the future can evolve to being stable by themselves and not being pegged to an index, but that's far ahead. And who wants to put their carbon credits as collateral in a boring product? That's a very good question. And hopefully everyone in this panel and in the audience. But we start, as I said before, with project developers from the voluntary carbon market. These are the ones that dedicate their time and resource to develop and originate these either avoidance or removal projects, and that then get certificates from variables and other standards that they can sell. But due to the macro environment and rising interest rates, companies like the corporate purchasers that retire these credits, they stop buying them because it's an expense. So markets are down, voluntary carbon markets are down, And we need these solutions together with mandatory systems to remove carbon from the atmosphere. So as a project developer, you have one revenue stream, and that's your credits. Now you don't get much money for your credits because no one wants to buy them. You have the other alternative that's out there at the moment are forward contracts or pre-purchasing deals. Companies accept the delivery risk, pay you money as a project developer to receive the carbon credits in a couple of years. However, for these deals, you use the current spot price as the baseline, and then there's a discount of 40% on top of it. So it's still a bad deal for project developers. And what these project developers do is developing projects, so they get these issued and they sit on millions of capital that's tied up in carbon credits, and they don't have access to the liquidity. And we provide them with a borrowing protocol that says, well, you should keep your credits, don't sell them at a loss. Hold them as long as you want and need to. You can also participate in the price appreciation of the markets. But get access to your liquidity in the meantime. Use the money to finance new projects. Just as some numbers, for Cooksoft projects, you need around about 500K to get started. For nature-based solutions, it's like 2 or 3 millions for forestry projects. And we say, take the money, get started, and when the market changes again, and we know that it will change because climate change is a very huge issue we struggle to solve, and there are more than 500 companies with their net zero commits, and all these companies struggle to reduce their carbon footprint. So what they do is they purchase carbon credits. And so, yeah, project developers look for these solutions. And on the other hand, corporates, like these purchasers, they also know that like 5,000 other companies want to get these credits, so there will be scarcity in the future. They start today already sourcing carbon credits and locking in today's cheap prices. But for them, it's also tying up liquidity to these assets. And we provide them with a borrowing protocol where they can just get access to their money and increase their dollar to carbon ratio they could leverage and just log in more carbon credits. Like everything we do is just to make the carbon market financially more attractive. And yes, I think some people will benefit financially from it, and without focusing on the regenerative part in carbon credits. But as long as we make sure money is flowing towards the ones who need the money, that develop these projects, local communities, and that's my hope in blockchain or ReFi in general, that we can make the flow of money transparent, we can monitor it, we can report it, we can cut out some of the middlemen. Then I'm very sure that there's a huge demand for such a borrowing protocol like Kumo.
All right. Thanks. I cannot take credit for the composition of the panel. Neither can I take credit for the next question, but there's in Web3 this concept of the Lego blocks, the composability to bring stuff together that before wasn't possible or harder. So we have someone that tokenizes allowances, we have someone that uses some climate-related assets to back a stablecoin, and we have a borrowing protocol. So I just want to throw to the three of you like a 3-minute hackathon in your head. Is there something that you can build together? Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so, yes. And we are already talking like Kakubi and Kumo. We haven't met before, so we can start the conversation now. But to close the circle, and I start and then hand it over to you, we can tokenize allowances from the European emission trading system that can be used as collateral for stablecoin, meaning we create more demand or a digital sink for these allowances that drives up the price for them, makes it more expensive for companies to pay for their pollution. And also there's this MSR mechanism that you can talk about in a minute, which is very interesting. And then we mint the stablecoin, we borrow stablecoin against it. And the challenge for every stablecoin is utility. And guess who brings utility for stablecoin? It's a lending product. And I would say we start with the infrastructure, and then we go over to the lending part.
Well, we've been fanatical about composability at Kakubi, and we want the KKB tokens to be used as building blocks, indeed, for our protocols to do. So, indeed, regarding MSR and the way the UETS market works is that industrials that pollute get an airdrop. They get airdrop half roughly speaking, have the permits they need to pollute annually, and then they need to buy the rest, and the EU means the rest, right? Now, the more efficient the industrial is, of course, the less permits they will need. But what do they do in between the airdrop and the surrender deadline date of the permits? They do absolutely nothing. They sit in a balance sheet with allowances in their pocket, and it's just this passive asset class. Why don't tokenize this with Kakubi and then use it and deb them into Kumo's stablecoin, and then perhaps use them as currency for lending protocols, right? This is just a brainstorming. An important advantage, as you said, Robin, is that thanks to MSR, as long as you hold the tokens, not only you are avoiding 1 ton of pollution, 1 token, you are also preventing new permits to be used to pollute, which is interesting, because a derivative asset class could be created through lending protocols, etc.
Well, they did everything, right? So that's easy. Now, I will add. I think it's very, very interesting to start thinking about stable coins back in nature, and especially for real use cases, right? So when we think about DeFi, we think about Aave or Compound, and they are basically lenders and borrowers for huge amount of money. But if we want to create real value, we need to go to the end customer. And the end customer could use, as they are using in Tropicus, to get a loan to buy a car, to get a loan to buy a piece of land, to get a loan to buy equipment for bakery. So this is happening right now, and if we can add this to a stable coin, it can help them to save in a stronger currency, and also can provide them better loans with lower interest rates, and helping nature with credits, the infrastructure, avoiding more pollution. I think that's the perfect mix. We have to definitely talk about it. That's my take on it.
Thanks. Anybody, any comments or questions on that one? Ideas? We have more Q&A at the end. Just hold them up. Okay, good. So I got fooled yesterday. I thought Gary Gensler of the SEC is stepping down. Didn't happen. Still the price is up, so that's good news. But let's talk about regulation. And let's not make it boring. I just want to understand a little bit. MiCA, other regulations, markets. You all deep into it. What's your take? What's happening the next few months and years? Whoever wants to start, don't care.
Absolutely. Okay.
I can start with MiCA because this applies to Kumo.
Maybe explain real quick what MiCA is.
Yeah, MiCA is market regulation in crypto assets from the European Union, and it's harmonizing. Like before MiCA, if we want to be a regulated product, we would go to the BaFin, which is a financial division in Germany, and we would need to get a license from them. If we want to extend our service offering to Spain, then we need to go to the financial department in Spain and get the license there. And what MiCA is doing mainly, and they started with stable coins, it's called CASP, which is a crypto asset service provider license. Meaning when you get licensed in one of the 28 member states, you are allowed to do your business in all of the EU, which is a huge enabler for every DeFi or crypto project in Europe. So we are very bullish on MiCA. If we will be able to comply with it. I mean, that's very hard for DeFi. MiCA was started with, what's it called, Diem or Libra from Facebook. So they mainly wanted to regulate Facebook's stablecoin and blockchain. That's the idea of why it started. And then, of course, they expanded the concept to other players like Circle. In the market, Circle is the company that USDC. For more DeFi native product that don't use treasury bills or plain US dollars as backing, that's something that's still up to discussion. But I see MiCA as an enabler for Europe in general. And with regulation comes innovation. And I hope to attract much talent and capital to Europe due to MiCA. And I mean, United States is much better in innovating stuff. Europe has a more focus on having regulation first, followed by innovation. But in MiCA, I think and I hope that other countries will copy the best parts, iterate, come up with a newer version, so we can end up with a harmonized legal framework for all crypto companies. Because as a founder, when we started Kumo, like the first 25,000 that we spent was for a memo from a lawyer that describes our system, so we don't put in too much personal liabilities of doing a crypto product. And I think this is stopping many people starting these crypto ideas. And I think this would just simplify many things. And also we don't need then to pretend to work in DAOs to don't have a registered entity anymore, because every DAO, not every, but most of them that start are still centralized and do it to cover or have an umbrella for their project, which is just eating up resources. Yeah, I'm very bullish on MiCA. I know that you also have your legal history. Maybe Pierre, you want to continue?
So about, roughly speaking, $300,000 of our investment on R&D at Kakubi has been lawyers, right? And we even started before MiCA was enacted. I like MiCA as well. I mean, we are getting to a world where the regulator will want to regulate this, especially after the scandal of irresponsible people and the discredit of the industry that a few had done. So I'm glad that we are Swiss. Kakubi is a Swiss company, and Canton of Zug provides a really good and advantageous stable legal framework in which to operate. Moreover, the EU market is connected with the Swiss market, which is a big extra. And I'm also very glad that from the very beginning we chose to go from the safe approach. Yes, we could have gone creative to say our token is a utility token, but from the very beginning it was clear that we are tokenizing a security of the EU, and we will need licenses, right? So Kakubi operates with one, and it wasn't easy, especially because we got our license just before the FTX scandal. I cannot begin to imagine what a license could be in terms of man hours right now. But I think everyone would need to pursue the regulated route. And what guided our decision was really common sense. We are talking about securities here. I cannot sell securities to someone that doesn't provide an ID. Now, if you would want to have permits from the European Union in your own account, it's 1 year of paperwork. It's 5 minutes KYC in our website. So, and there's this economy of a scale here. So I believe in the end, we are all better off with regulation, yes? Now, regarding the SEC, Kakubi sells to professional investors in the United States, but we are even considering banning IP addresses from retail investors that come from the US, because the SEC might be overly protective of the US dollar at the expense of hampering our innovation, in my opinion.
I take on that because it's exactly our example. So we are DeFi, so we don't have borders. We basically have activity in different countries, as I said, mainly Latin America. But we close our front end from the United States because of all the legal issues. We don't know the framework, exact framework they are playing, and DeFi is on the target. So we prefer to be in legal frameworks that we know well. We do agree that MiCA is important, and probably the legal framework of MiCA will be copied in Latin America, which is not the best thing because they copy-paste and it doesn't apply to the context there, but still it happened with GDPR, exactly the same, and so there are some controversy there. But in the legal terms, if you want to start a project, what I would say, and this is not financial advice or project advice, but is that if you have an idea, build it, build it and you will adapt to the legal framework later, because otherwise you are killing the potential innovation. You will see the different frameworks that are, or the sandboxes that are in different countries, and probably you will find the right fit for your project. But yeah, that's my main advice, because otherwise we will not find new solutions, new innovations, especially for us in Latin America. It's very, very important to provide new alternatives, and that's what that we are doing. And to be more specific, in Colombia, we had a sandbox of 2 years, and it was just a political movement. They didn't reach any agreement, and only exchanges can do activities there. So for us, it was 2 years waiting for an answer. Can DeFi do something in Colombia? And we're still waiting. So 2 years in DeFi, it's like 10 years in the real world. So yeah, my advice, go ahead, and then you will fit on the legal terms.
Again, back to you guys. Any questions? I think we're like 35 minutes in. Any questions for the panel? At least one, come on.
You share so far. I think I have a questions for Kakuri, but actually for everyone. Earlier you mentioned how soon you're gonna get to the retailing part of the tokens. About that, are you also working on a kind of communication that can, like an intentional communication that can arrive to those people that are not in this industry? Like, you know, people here know what you're talking about, but like...
Yes. The big money marketing will be spent once we have the license to sell to retail. Factually, we have started the retail sales in Switzerland. We can do that, and it's been the Kakubi. We have spent €0 in promotion and still got 500,000, sorry, in revenue, right? And this was intentionally. We wanted to set up something that would scale well. Right? But once we have the license to sell to retail in Europe, advertising will start, of course. And it's probably going to be aggressive advertising, because we believe there is an urgency, there is a climatic urgency. Absolutely.
Yeah. In terms, I think my question was more like the kind of communication, like yes, the advertising, but like the terminology even that ones decide to use. Because again, like everything you guys been saying here, people understand because they work in it, but when you said retailer, like maybe my question is probably who's your target? That's probably a better question.
I would say the target is someone who is climate conscious and wants to hoard an asset class that was only available to Goldman Sachs, to investment banking up until now. Do you want to have that? This is the main line of communication, because up until now, we signed an ease agreement. It was like the Big Short movie, you know. We have Lawson Steele on board and partner at Kakubi. He's the biggest carbon analyst in the world. He's followed in LinkedIn, Lawson Steele, by thousands of people. And thanks to him, we got this done. We got to sit at the big boys table, and we are connected and tapped with a huge pile of liquidity. And up until now, if you were not in investment banking, you wouldn't have access to that. So do you want that? This is the communication line.
So it's still like terms in more in terms of access, but still the background that the target has, it needs to be enough to understand. I think my question was probably more on the terminology. So you're going to use the same terminology, or you're open to work on a terminology to approach people that don't have the same background as your other target?
It is really important for us to approach all people at all ends of a spectrum, right? Because obviously we are knowledgeable people, but some other people won't have the luck to have the education that I had, of course. Imagine, just brainstorming about it, right? But imagine Shakira singing a song about this. It's possible because we've done work with with the guy that has wrote songs for Shakira. Imagine a music that is aimed to save the world. As long as you hold NFTs of this music, you'll be preventing pollution from happening. This is a powerful message, right? So we are brainstorming about this. It's an open debate, and I welcome ideas. I welcome network effects as well, of course. Let's do this together, absolutely.
Well, besides the fact that I think Shakira would be a great strategy, to be honest, I think I have another question for everyone that I give you this back. You wanted to say something? Yeah.
I think it's super relevant, your question, and avoiding jargon is extremely important. So in our example, we decided to avoid APY, APR, even stablecoin, dollar on chain. So we try to keep it as simple as dollar, Bitcoin, not even VTZ, RVTZ, or all these, the terminology, it's very, very important. I'm a product guy, so copywriting and all the storytelling around the communication, I think it should be thought about, well, it depends on your target for sure, but in our case, the users are average users. So if they want to enter into the crypto world, it's just, you want dollars? Yeah, okay, you can have it. And you want a fairer loan? Okay, you can have it. And then you have the local currency, so how to do the fiat ramp with local currency. But again, fiat ramp, it's a jargon. So we are in this cycle.
Yes, pretty hard too. Thank you. And then I guess the last thing was, so we talked about carbonization, tokenization, carbon credits. What is your guys, everyone wants to answer, take on the other credits, like they call it the other ecological benefits? So soil, air, water, biodiversity, equity. So that was the last one.
Yeah, it's also a very good question. I think we agree that we want to support everything that has a climate positive impact, but it doesn't need to be limited to climate, just a positive impact on Earth. And sometimes I feel like we get confused when talking about the quality of carbon credits by using carbon credits as an umbrella for everything that has impact. So it's not like, for me it's more a discussion of the integrity of a carbon credit. Does it really avoid it as much carbon as it pretends to? And then we have additionalities that come with these carbon credits or this carbon credit. And I'm not like, maybe we need to rethink how we name these credits. Maybe they are more ecological credits or earth credits, I don't know. But misusing carbon credits for everything that we can account for and people tend to pay for, I think that's maybe misleading, but very bullish on biodiversity credits and all the other kinds of things. Two things are needed. We need to probably be able to account for these things, like the monitoring, reporting, verification, and then we need markets for DeFi products in order to integrate them as building blocks.
Yeah, thank you. So honestly, I'm sort of surprised that there are still no light pollution credits. Light pollution is an increasing concern that impacts biodiversity, and UNESCO defines the right to see the stars. It's a human right, right? And unfortunately, the light of Barcelona light appliances are not correctly shielded, right? And it's measurable. You can quantify this. There are maps. NOAA has them, and NASA has them. So it's something that would greatly benefit the biosphere. Just listen tonight if you sleep in Barcelona. Listen to the birds. They are tweeting at night. This is not normal, and it's something that doesn't foster biodiversity.
Thank you so much. Well, connecting just last thing, what Robin said. The reason why I asked these questions, I think it is misleading. That's my take on this, and that's why I was also asking about the target, because I believe that impact would be probably more impactful if more people will understand and also connect to transparency more. You said integrity. Would you you could use transparency, or you use the integrity for like a specific reason? You said integrity of a carbon credit, which was really interesting.
Yeah, for a specific reason, because transparency requires someone to check if the data is valid. And I mean, we talk like a lot about transparency, but it's not the use case that we scan all the QR codes and have a look at the supply chains and whatever footprint we can extract from it. I think we need to think about simplification, and we tend to think in verticals. So if there is a check mark or label that can be verified, or maybe has been verified, that's nice, but for me it's more about the integrity, that we know that it's true, like what they pretend it's true. And but how do we address this and market this to people so we understand it? Like there's a search engine that's called Ecosia, and they're based in Germany, I'm not sure if you know them, but they use their revenue to plant trees. And you can think, or they've made it so easy that with every like search request you plant one tree. And that's something that's very easy for us to digest and to understand. But what's a tree? It's biodiversity, it's carbon credits, it's many, many different things. So maybe we can think of easier stuff, just maybe well-being or like trees in this case.
Simplification, as you said. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the questions.
Anyone else? The last one? All right.
Can I have the microphone?
You can.
Okay.
Sit down.
Hi, Nicholas. A question about the global south, because in finance, we generally go for the USA because a lot of investors. So we have to deal with the SEC, we have to deal with all this stuff. Now, you talked about maybe less for Copicus because your DeFi protocol. I'm interested in your jurisdictional situation, not just Switzerland, but what sort of organization or company you formed, a foundation. And secondly, what are you doing to service Syria, Korea, other countries which are on sanctions lists who are not accepting US funds? How do we bring DeFi to the global south, if I can bring that word? Because we're not interested in the SEC, so you're less interested in attaching and recruiting investors from the USA, which we well know is the largest global capital market at the moment. So I'd like your feedback on that and your structures as well. Are you a not-for-profit? Are you a for-profit corporation?
Sure. On that, repeat the question. Yeah, I'll repeat the question. So the question was about capital markets and well, the U.S. market versus the rest. What is our jurisdiction, right? What is our area of operation, and your thoughts on how much of the global economy is still U.S. based, which is evident. It's true, right? And probably part of the trouble the SEC is giving to the industries because they want to protect the whole dollar, in my opinion, in the wrong strategy. But anyhow, the biggest economy in the world, I believe, is the European Union, right? It's something that's important to remember. It's still bigger than the U.S. economy and bigger than the Chinese economy. Now, of course, the reserve currency is US dollar, and there was this Bretton Woods, and then it was destroyed, and we are in a financial mess as we are right now. Right? Regarding countries on the blacklist, you also mentioned, yeah, Kakubi cannot sell to North Korea, cannot sell even to people in Cayman Islands. We are not hiding in any shady jurisdiction whatsoever. My name and face is in the website. Our company is spelled Kakubi AG, which is an AG company, a limited liability company, headquartered in Canton of Zug, right? So to the service of really everyone in the world that KYC is in our website. Now, one important thing to remember, our smart contract doesn't have blacklist capability, right? And it has, it doesn't have a pause function either. So it's aimed at composability. Our role here is like an ATM. We KYC once people take money out, right? And then we KYC around when people put money in. Now, what people want to do with this money, in this case KKB tokens, which is a finite asset class, we believe it's the gold of the 21st century because it's carbon, right? And what could be more valuable than carbon and holding carbon, not in the atmosphere, but preventing the carbon from happening. So you could do whatever you want with these tokens, but of course, break the rules, of course, don't break the law.
Just if I may translate that, I mean, you don't control the secondary market. Whatever happens with the secondary sale happens with the secondary sale. Good.
Correct.
And any last question? Otherwise, you'll find us. All right. Want a mic?
Hey, it's like in line with the question of the girl, with the last question. Have you thinking about different currencies, not only dollar? For example, because we have in Latin America we have like a lot of users, but we never think in dollars. We are not dollarized. We have the real in Brazil, we have the Colombian peso, we have the Peruvian peso, we have other currencies. And I don't remember last week or last month, and I think Brazil do a transaction with China, not in dollars. So they are avoiding the dollar. So.
Yeah, we definitely thought about it in Tropicus, and there is a trend now happening more and more, especially in the borrowing side of the protocol, because getting a loan in dollars for in a local economy, it's complicated depending on the inflation that you have. For example, in Argentina, on Thursday we will present this in Barcelona. We did an experiment, and the interest rate of the loan, we had a loan of $150, and the interest rate on the platform was $0.6, which is almost nothing. But with the inflation during 2 months, the result was 117% in analyzed. So it's pretty complicated. That's why in the borrowing side of Tropicus, we're thinking about crypto local currencies to provide these kind of loans that are pegged to local currencies. So in Colombia and Argentina, this will be much better for the end user. And also regarding your comment, is the dollar the only option? I don't think so. And yeah, the different associations with China, and there's several countries as a group thinking about the yuan as a reserve currency. This is probably happening maybe in the following years, but at the moment, I would say, if you think about Colombia, and I know it, we met there, people think about dollar as a reserve, as a store of value. So this is still happening, and this is a cultural thing in Argentina, in Colombia, and several countries. So at the moment, I would say it's the current solution, but in the borrowing side, yeah, it's important to have local currencies as an option.
If we want to make crypto mainstream, we need local currencies for adoption.
Definitely.
Big applause to the panel, because I think we're out of time. So if you have more questions, I will just stand around for the rest of the day, okay? Thank you. Be grateful for you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.